Part 92. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu Ge. Chapter 915. Qin Ge was drinking tea and looking at Egil, who was reading a book. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know how to speak for a while. What's wrong? You're hesitant. Just say what you want to say. Egil turned his head and looked at Qin Ge, his eyes full of smiles. This doesn't look like you, at least it doesn't look like you before. Qin Ge touched his nose awkwardly. What I want to ask is, have you felt something strange in the port area recently? Strange? Egil rolled his eyes with a hint of doubt. Why is it strange? Why don't I feel it? What should I tell you? It used to be that when I was working late every day, someone would always come to see me. I found that very few people came these past 2 days, Qin Ge said, looking at the door. Egil burst out laughing. That's it? Qin Ge hesitated. That's it? Isn't this a good thing? Everyone knows that you are working hard for Minato district, so they won't come to disturb you. Isn't this normal? Do you hope that someone will come to disturb you every day? Egil asked. It's not that I'm talking about this, it's just that the feeling has disappeared all of a sudden, and I'm a little unaccustomed to it, Qin Ge said, and after I went back these 2 days, every time I went to Guanghui or other people, although they were very enthusiastic, they feel a little tired. It's like I've been working all day, but as the main veterans of the port area, they basically don't have much to do now, so they won't be like that every day. Perhaps they are preparing for training for the upcoming war? You must know that we don't have long time, and since the purifier came to the port area and you recalled the ship girls from other places, everyone has been relieved. There is no need to maintain a combat readiness posture every day, so maybe we start training, Egil said. Maybe, but I always feel weird and can't put my finger on it, Qin Ge frowned. Haha, I think it's because you have less work recently, so you are a little busy. I have never said this before, Egil smiled. Ahem, I still work until that time every day, how can the workload be reduced? Qin Ge said speechlessly. Then you didn't say these words when you were working before, and you didn't have such a long break, Egil smiled. Well, it seems that they have been leisurely recently, Qin Ge said helplessly. When you patrol later, pay attention to what they are doing. Egil chuckled and closed the book. Are those destroyers or cruisers? I don't remember when you became a Lolita control like Ark Royal, right? What Lolita control? Look at who is a Lolita in my wedding ship, Qin Ge rolled his eyes. So you are after people like Guanghui, Egil smiled. Do you like big ones? Qin Ge coughed and said with some embarrassment, why did the topic come to this? Oh, man, Egil closed the book and stood up. Then you work hard here. I will patrol the port area and see what they are doing. Okay, Qin Ge nodded. I saw Egil walking out of the door, with a hint of smile, and walked towards the direction of Kanyang Academy. When she arrived here, a fiery scene appeared in front of her. Basically everyone in Minato who can be named is here, arranging things here. Egil didn't stop and walked directly to a classroom in Kanyang Academy. As soon as they entered the door, they saw Guanghui and Tiancheng discussing something. Zhenhai sitting on the desk beside him was writing and drawing, and everyone else was doing their own things. Although he seemed busy, he didn't look panicked at all. Miss Egil, aren't you in the commander's office? Why are you here? Guanghui raised his head and said with some surprise. He's patrolling the port area, and he seems to have noticed the strangeness in the port area, Egil said, leaning against the wall. Ah! Commander, have you noticed what happened to us? Enterprise raised his head and said with some surprise. Others also looked nervous. After all, such things require a sense of mystery. If Qin Ge knew about it now, then there would be no sense of mystery. That's not true, but he noticed that no one went to his office to disturb him these afternoons. And every time he came back to the room to find you, you always looked tired, so he was a little strange. As for what happened in Minato, I can only say that you feel that the war is coming, so you are training. Eggle said helplessly. It turns out to be like this. It's no wonder. We have too many people here. Everyone wants to contribute for the commander, but it turns out like this, Guanghui said. Actually, I think you can come in batches. One batch will work today and another batch tomorrow. There must be some people around him, otherwise basically everyone in the port area will be here, right? Everyone will be suspicious, Eggle said. Yes, the Lord is not a very suspicious person to begin with, but this time there are indeed a lot of people here, Magi said. But it's not long before the Chinese New Year. If only half of the people are here to do it, they will probably not be able to catch up. After all, there are too many things that need to be done. Every camp must take care of it. This is not it can be done in a few days, Genhai said. I have an opinion for you to consider, Eggle said. Say, Prince Eugen said. Your purpose is to surprise him, so there is no need to do it yourself. If you have this time, you can contact people from other camps and ask them to help with the first part, and then return to the port area to assemble it. Okay, there's no need to start with small pieces, right, Eggle said. After hearing this, everyone was stunned for a moment, then looked at each other and smiled bitterly. Haha, this is really a good idea. It seems that some of us were a little obsessed with the authorities at that time. Although it is indeed a good thing to do it ourselves, we do not want the commander to see what we have done ourselves, but to give him a surprise. Genhai said with a smile. Yes, I support it, Richelieu said. I support it too, Veneto said. Oh, Enterprise, then I'll leave this matter to you. We'll continue to do the small items, but as for the big items, we have to leave it to other camps. When the time comes, ask Kakashi to help pick it up, Magi said with a smile. Okay, that's it, it's been decided. This way we can divide the group of people out so that the commander won't feel too strange, Enterprise nodded. Thank you, Eggle. This time Prince Eugen smiled. Oh, it's just a matter of bystanders, Eggle said with a smile. 2. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 916. Master, the Spring Festival is just 1 week away. What are your wishes for this year? Charybdis asked softly while helping to pick Chin-Ji's ears. Wish, Chin-Ji lay on Charybdis' lap, feeling the touch on his face. Actually, I don't have any special wish. My biggest wish is that you can be happy every day, Minato. Everything is developing steadily and for the better, and that's enough for me. What about yourself, Master? For example, how many more wedding ships will you have next year? Or which lady will you win? That kind of thing about yourself, Charybdis smiled. Chin-Ji rolled his eyes. It sounds like I'm a gangster and a bully. What do you mean by winning over which lady, although I do have a lot of weddings now? Speaking of Carlu, what would you do if I gave you a ring? Charybdis' hand holding his ears stopped for a while, and then he continued to move after a while. Master, please stop joking. Even if there is no ring, I will accompany you, and I will be more careful, heal the master, so the master should leave those rings to the other ladies. If it was Chin-Ji before, then he would believe it now, but after experiencing so much, if he still believed it so simply, then he would no longer be Chin-Ji. Stretching out his hand, he hugged Charybdis' waist. What nonsense are you talking about? Each of you has the same status in my heart. Although you are a maid, you are still a maid to me. Indispensable. If there really comes a day when I want to give you a ring, it will definitely be yours, just like I gave it to Belfast, because you are also an indispensable part of me. Master, is really cunning. He was clearly talking about his own wish, and then he came to me. So what exactly is the master's wish? Charybdis was very moved by Chin-Ji's answer, but this is obviously not the purpose. Haha, Qin Ji smiled, I really don't have any wishes. Just like what I just said, my biggest wish is that the port area will develop steadily and you can live happily every day. Apart from that, it seems that there is none left. The master is always like this, and he can't think about us every day. What we hope to see is a more real master. He has his own ideas and hobbies, and it's okay to get angry occasionally, Charybdis said. Kalu said that, which makes me a little embarrassed. Qin Ji couldn't help laughing. If it's really about myself, let me think about it. I have always wanted to have a group photo of all the ship girls in our port area. To be honest, it is rare to see all the people. Either they go to play or they do other things, and my range of activities is only so large, and I only see those few people every day. I'm really afraid that as more and more people come to our port area, I will forget some people's names. So I have a selfish intention, that is, I always want a group photo of all the ship girls in the port area, so that I can see everyone even in the office. No matter how much time passes, I can still call everyone by their name clearly when I see them. Charybdis was stunned for a moment, and then his movements became gentler. Perhaps because he was too comfortable, Qin Ji fell asleep quickly. Charybdis gently covered Qin Ji with a quilt, turned off the light, and then exited the room. But instead of returning to her room, she came to the glorious room next to her and knocked on the door. In just a moment, the door opened, revealing Hermione. Kalu, you are here. Is the master asleep? Hermione asked. I came here after I fell asleep. It shouldn't be too late, right? Charybdis said. It's not too late, Miss Glory and the others are waiting for you, Hermione said. So have you asked the commander about his wish? Yes, Charybdis nodded firmly. That's great. The two of them walked into the room together while talking. Sure enough, in addition to Guanghui, there were also several ship girls from other camps. When they saw Charybdis, they all showed expectant eyes. Charybdis, how are you? Did the commander tell you his wish? Guanghui asked impatiently. Miss Guanghui, the master has said his wish, Charybdis nodded. What is it? Prince Eugen asked, and several other high-level ship girls also looked at Charybdis eagerly. He hopes that the port area will develop better and better. He hopes that we will be very happy every day. If it is personal, he most hopes to have a photo of all the ship girls, because the owner said that he is afraid that one day everyone in the port area will more and more, he would forget some people's names, Charybdis said. At this moment, all the ship girls in the room were silent. Prince Eugen smiled mockingly, is this expected? Commander, he is really. He is happy but a little sad. This is how Guanghui feels now. Perhaps this is our commander. We are the only one in his life now, and he is the only one in our life. Enterprise smiled. Bonded by each other, it seems that we have become a whole. We and him constitute a world that belongs to us, Richelieu said, stroking the conductor in his arms. I used to always want to spread my brilliance to every corner of the world. When I suddenly stopped, I found that the commander had already shined his brilliance on each of us, Guanghui said with a smile. I originally wanted to be in the middle. Leave an open space to fulfill the commander's wish when the time comes. But it seems that there is no need to leave it there now. How about we transform it into a stage? In this way, we can dedicate our carefully prepared program to him, and at the end, we will leave a photo of our world together. Well, it's decided. And starting from tomorrow, we will prepare things in the port area. Jinhai smiled. I'll leave it to you, Dong Huang, in the port area. Of course, the rest of us will also assist, Veneto said. Haha, isn't this the same every year? Jinhai said with a smile. I always feel that this year will be different. Maybe this year will leave the best memory, the company said. That's right, I'll leave it to Gridley to take pictures then, Guanghui said. No problem, I believe she is happy to take this photo. When the time comes, the photos will be developed and we will each keep one, the company said. Of course, that's the decision, Prince Eugen said. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 917. Chapter 917. My health has been a bit bad recently, so I cannot guarantee normal updates. I will take a break for a few days and update as soon as I get the chance. The countdown to this book is about to begin, and it probably won't take much longer to be written. I hope you will support me during this last period. I will write the end of this book, and it will definitely not be unique. Please feel free to read it. Finally, I want to say sorry here. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 918. In the past 2 days, when Qin Ji was in the office, he could clearly feel that the new year was approaching. At some point, my office was filled with things related to the Spring Festival. Although I finished today's work early, it was already the afternoon when I really stopped to rest. For Qin Ji, it seems that he has become accustomed to the current life. Drinking the tea made by Egil, his mind drifted to the distance unconsciously. Egil seemed to notice Qin Ji's demeanor, so he asked with a smile, "What are you thinking about? Your smile is so annoying." Qin Ji came back to his senses and couldn't help but rolled his eyes. "What do you mean by laughing so annoyingly?" "I just thought of something happy." "Oh? What is it?" "Tell it to make me happy," Egil asked with a smile. Qin Ji smiled, with a hint of nostalgia on his face. "I still remember that not long after I came to this world, there were only a few ship girls around me at that time, and there weren't many things to do. Everyone would sit together during breaks, chatting and singing. Obviously it happened a few years ago, but why does it feel like a long time ago when I think about it now?" "Haha, so you don't want to do it anymore," Egil smiled and blinked. Qin Ji lay helplessly on the table. "That's not the point, forget it, today's work is done. Let's go patrol the port area together. We haven't been there for a long time, so we just want to go for a walk." Egil rolled his eyes and said, "Haha, I'm afraid you can't go today." "Huh? Why?" Qin Ji asked doubtfully. "The Spring Festival is coming soon, and many people are rehearsing in the gymnasium of the playground. They have already said hello to me in New Jersey. If you have time, go over there and guide them," Egil said. Qin Ji was stunned. "Well, even if you are patrolling the port area, you won't be delayed, right?" "Haha, you were still missing the good times with other people just now. Are you going to plunge into work now?" Egil teased. We can't let you patrol alone all the time, right?" "That would be really embarrassing," Qin Ji said with some embarrassment. "Special circumstances, special treatment," Egil said. "I don't want others to say that I didn't notify him in place and let the commander spend all his free time elsewhere." Qin Ji was helpless. "Okay, I understand. Let's go to the amusement park together first. Going there won't delay your patrol." "No problem," Egil said cheerfully. If Qin Ji patrols the port area, he may discover the arrangements at the Ship Girl Academy. So instead of making other excuses, it would be better to take him directly to the others and let them hold Qin Ji back. As soon as they left, the two quickly packed up their things in the office, left the office area, and walked towards the recreation area. The street lamps on the road have long been replaced by red lanterns by the ship girls, and there are neatly arranged wires on the street lamps, with small lanterns hanging on them. Even the trees next to it have been wrapped with neon ribbons for some time. I believe it will look very beautiful when lit up at night. It always feels like it's much better than last year, Qin Ji said with some sigh as he looked at the layout along the way. Haha, I heard from them that the commander should have just returned from outside last year, right? Egil asked. That's right. At that time, we had just finished a war and completed a visit to the Europa continent camp. We returned to the port area with a sense of comfort, Qin Ji said with a smile. Having just experienced a big battle, everyone will definitely be nervous, so maybe it's natural that the layout is not as good as it is now, Egil said with a smile. That's right, Qin Ji nodded. After the previous battle, everyone's nerves were tense for a long time, so it didn't seem to be as grand as this year. The two chatted all the way and soon arrived at the stadium. Just as Egil said, there are indeed many people rehearsing here. There were dancers, operas, and even acrobatics when Qin Ji came in. It's spectacular, Qin Ji stood at the entrance and said in a daze. In the past years, he didn't pay attention to the rehearsal. He only waited until the performance to see the true face of the show prepared by the ship girls. I think it's spectacular too, Egil said. At this moment, some other ship girls also noticed Qin Ji's arrival, so they gathered around him. Hey, why are you here, Commander? Aren't you still working at your usual time? North Carolina asked in confusion. I said, didn't New Jersey tell me that the commander doesn't have to go on patrol when he has nothing to do, and he came here to help you with some instructions on the rehearsal? Egil took a step forward and said, then winked at North Carolina. North Carolina immediately knew what was going on, so she nodded quickly. Oh, it turned out to be New Jersey. I heard her mention it before, but I thought she was joking. I didn't expect the commander to really come. Yes, this is really great. Really? Haha, I always feel a little embarrassed to disturb your training, Qin Ji said apologetically. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Everyone is preparing these programs for the Spring Festival Gala. If Commander can help us make the program better, then everyone will surely enjoy watching it and be very happy. This is not the case. Bad thing, the Prince of Wales said with a smile. But why haven't I seen anyone from New Jersey? Qin Ji asked. She is a little inside. There is a special steel pole stage there. She seems to be preparing for the show there. Commander, you can wait a moment. I will ask others to go over and call for help, North Carolina quickly called to her sister Washington. He winked. Oh, so that's it? Will it disturb her rehearsal? Qin Ji asked doubtfully. No, rehearsal is a stop-and-go thing. It's no problem. Commander, let's chat with others here or watch other people's rehearsal programs. I'll call New Jersey. Washington received the signal from his sister. And immediately walked toward a deeper place. Looking at the scene in front of him, Egil smiled at a few people. Then I leave the commander to you. I am going to patrol the port area now. I will come to find him then. You can't take up your time. It's too long. No, the Prince of Wales smiled, and then said to Qin Ji, Commander, before New Jersey comes, do you want to go see the opera we are rehearsing? A story about a knight and a princess. Commander, there's ours too. The others' eyes lit up in an instant, and they all shouted and stretched out their hands. Qin Ji felt a little dizzy for a moment, and quickly said to everyone, don't worry, there is plenty of time before dark, let's take our time. Oh. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 919. With the cooperation of many ship girls, Qin Ji did not even notice the changes in the Ship Girls Academy in the port area until New Year's Eve. As soon as I get off work every day, I will be dragged over by several ship girls to watch the rehearsal, or taken to drink tea. Qin Ji was not worried. The show would not be enjoyable to watch. After all, there were only a small number of ship girls rehearsing at the stadium, and more ship girls were preparing in other places. Opening his sleepy eyes, Qin Ji immediately saw Belfast waiting by the bed. Good morning, Master. Belfast smiled. Qin Ji smiled and nodded. Good morning, when did you get up? Why have I never felt it? Belfast said with a smile, If I wake up the master because of my getting up, then it would be rude as a maid. Qin Ji smacked his lips and said, "Okay, by the way, today is New Year's Eve. Time flies so fast, and the year is over again in the blink of an eye. Yes, this is also the 6th New Year's Eve that my master and I have spent together." Belfast's eyes were full of tenderness. "Haha, it will be a long time in the future, and we will have more time to spend together," Qin Ji said with a smile. "Get up first, the port area must be very lively today." Yes, Belfast smiled and immediately began to help Qin Ji get up. This kind of service has been going on for several years, and Qin Ji has become accustomed to it. In other words, there has been a tacit understanding between the two, which belongs to the tacit understanding between master and servant. Soon, Qin Ji was dressed neatly and was washing up when he saw Charybdis had brought breakfast in. "Master, you don't have to go to work today, right? After all, it's the last day of the year, so it doesn't make sense if you're at work, right?" Charybdis asked. Qin Ji wiped his face, then handed the towel to Belfast, and said to Charybdis, "If we don't go, the donkeys in the production team will have to take a rest, let alone me." And basically nothing happened during the new year. "By the way, have the people at the experimental site notified me?" "The master has asked about this for the 4th time." Belfast smiled. "They have been notified early and will probably be back this morning." "Haha, I haven't seen them in the port area. I always feel that something is missing somewhere," Qin Ji said with a smile. "Then what is the master's plan today? Is he going to hang out in the port area, or is he going to where some of the remaining commanders are?" Charybdis smiled. Qin Ji thought for a while. "Actually, I am going to try to summon new ship girls again. Although the summons failed the last few times before, it does not mean that I have summoned all the ship girls. So today I decided to give it a try while I had some free time. It would be better if it is summoned, but if it is not summoned, just treat it as leisure and entertainment. After these things are done, I am going to visit several stations. We will not spend the spring festival together this year, but as the commander of a large fleet, we still have to fulfill our responsibilities. After these things are completed, it will be almost afternoon. It will be a perfect and fulfilling day to change into formal clothes and have the spring festival gala. Haha, what a well-organized plan. Then I'll ask the head maid to accompany the master to dine, and I'll go to Miss Kitchen Goddess to prepare the resources needed for the summons." Charybdis smiled. "Well, I'll trouble you, Kalu," Qin Ji said. "It doesn't matter, anything is fine as long as the master needs it," Charybdis said with a smile, then bowed, turned and left the room. "I always think it's great to have your maid team. It seems I'm used to being lazy." Qin Ji turned to look at Belfast and couldn't help but smile. "If the master thinks he is lazy, then I think there will be very few diligent people in this world." Belfast smiled, "And if we have our maid team, the master will need to be busier and busier, that is our failure." Qin Ji touched his nose and said, "Okay, let's eat first. Then we'll go summon together and see what kind of ship girl we can summon this time." The two of them finished their breakfast soon and left the room to go to the construction room next to the warehouse. There were greetings to Qin Ji everywhere. "Commander, Happy New Year's Eve. I heard that you don't have to go to work so early today. Where are you going? Why don't you rest in the room for a while?" George V asked with a smile after meeting Qin Ji. "This year has come to an end, and I am going to use the last day to use up this year's luck. So I want to go to the construction room to try summoning to see if I can summon a new ship girl," Qin Ji said with a smile. "Oh, that's a good idea. It just so happens that I don't have anything to do right now. Let's go and have a look with you," George V said with interest. "Haha, that's good. If your royal ship girl is summoned, you can also make arrangements," Qin Ji said with a smile. "Haha, what the commander said is right, then I hope to summon a few more royal ships this time," George V said with a smile. When several people came to the construction room together, they found that Charybdis was already waiting here, and the Rubik's Cube and materials needed for summoning were also placed on the ground. It seemed that if they left the matter to the maid team, they would always get it. A good result. Master, everything is ready. This time, I have prepared about 400 mental cubes and corresponding supplies, which should be enough. Charybdis stepped forward and said. Haha, then I hope to use all these materials. But according to the probability, if it cannot be summoned more than 5 times, then give up temporarily, Qin said with a smile. Hee, Miss Kitchen Goddess said there is no problem. The reserves of the intelligent cube in our port area are still relatively sufficient and can fully withstand the consumption of the master. Charybdis smiled. Qin smiled and said, although I say so, unnecessary consumption is a waste. Let me try it first and then talk about it. So under the gaze of several people, Qin walked to the side of the builder, took a deep breath, put the mental cube and materials into the builder, and then pressed the start button. The builder started rumbling, and Qin heart was in his throat as he stared at the builder's display screen. If the time appears on it, it proves that the construction was successful. If nothing is displayed and the builder stops, it means the build failed this time. While everyone was waiting in silence, a moment appeared on the screen of the builder. 0:55:00. Phew, it's shipped, Qin said in surprise. At this time, it seems that she should be my sister, Charybdis also said in surprise. Haha, the commander is really amazing. I was talking about the royal ship girl before, but I immediately built a royal ship girl, George V said in admiration. Let's see who it is from Dido level, right? Good. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 920. When the churning mist gradually fell, a ship girl with silver white hair, rose-red eyes, and a black and white maid outfit appeared in front of everyone. This is our first meeting. My master, please allow me to say hello to you. I am Scylla, a Dido-class light cruiser. As you can see, I am just an ordinary maid. The maid, no, it was Scylla, made an elegant maid ceremony to Qin who was standing at the front, and said very softly. Hearing Scylla's words, Qin grinned inwardly. Are there ordinary maids at the Dido level? Look at that figure and that look in his eyes. The Scylla in front of him must be an extraordinary character. But even though I think so, I can't say it like that. Qin immediately stretched out his hand and said to Scylla, my name is Qin, and I am the commander of this port area. You are welcome to join our port area, Sakura. From today on, we are a family. Please give me your advice in the future. Looking at Qin outstretched hand, Scylla took it without any hesitation. Thank you, master, for your love. Just after the two shook hands, Charybdis, who was standing behind Qin walked up and said, Scylla, the master really summoned you. It's great to see you here. Charybdis, it seems that you arrived here earlier than me. Scylla also smiled, and then saluted King George V and Belfast, Your Excellency, Knight Commander. Your Excellency also has the head maid. Yes, George V and Belfast smiled and nodded, which was regarded as saying hello. Seeing the two maids meeting each other, Qin couldn't help but smile. Dido-class light cruisers can be divided into 3 batches according to their completion time and configuration, and Charybdis and Scylla belong to the last batch. He is a very close person. It would be great if you are familiar with each other. Karu, please give Scylla a brief introduction to the current situation in our port area. Next, I have to summon other people, Qin said. Yes, Master. Charybdis smiled, then took Scylla's hand and walked aside, telling her about the port area with great interest. The commander summoned the royal ship girl at once, which makes me look forward to what kind of ships the commander can summon, George V said with a smile. Qin Ji smiled and said, summoning ships is like gambling. No one knows who the next ship will be. We can only know clearly when they appear. Indeed. While talking to King George V, Qin Ji put the Rubik's Cube and materials into the builder again. As he pressed the builder to start, a rumbling sound appeared, and soon a line appeared on the builder's display screen. Time: 02:10:00. Why does this time seem like the construction time of the athletic god? But the athletic god is already in the port area. Could it be a new ship? George V asked curiously. Maybe, but whether it's a new ship or not, you'll know once you summon it, Qin Ji said with excitement, and then put a rapid construction tool into the builder. As the machine roared, the hatch of the builder opened, and purple light appeared in everyone's eyes. In fact, since being able to convert ships, Qin Ji has become less sensitive to the light corresponding to the previous rarity, because as long as he is converted into a ship, even the most ordinary ships that exude white light are very powerful. The power is far beyond what an ordinary golden ship girl can compare to. After the smoke cleared, a short-haired oriental beauty wearing a dark green cheongsam and holding a folding fan stood in front of Qin Ji. Hello, Commander, I am the Huajia, the ship belonging to Dong Huang. I am glad to meet you. Hearing Huajia's self-introduction, Qin Ji's eyes lit up. Hello, Huajia, my name is Qin Ji, and I am the commander of this port area. You are most welcome to my port area. As expected, I chose to be here on New Year's Day. There are still surprises in summoning on this day of turning 30, so please give me your guidance in the future. Hey, is today the New Year's Eve? Huajia was stunned and said with some surprise. Yes, because few people come to the construction room, there is not much decoration here, but as soon as you walk out the door, you can feel the flavor of the new year immediately. Qin Ji smiled, but I suggest you wait a little. After a while, I will ask Belfast to notify Jinhai to pick you up. Thank you, Commander, Huajia said quickly, and then he seemed to have remembered something and said excitedly, the commander just said that the New Year's spirit is very strong, which means that there are other activities on New Year's Eve tonight. Already? Haha, indeed. This is a bit much to say, but these activities are all organized by our ship girl who just went to Dong Huang, so when Jinhai comes over later, you can ask her in detail. I believe you will very interested, Qin Ji explained. Well, I understand, Commander, Huajia said excitedly. She seemed really interested in those interesting activities. After arranging for Belfast to contact Jinhai first, Qin Ji continued the summons. One after another, Dingan, Hundred-Eyed Giant, Hero, Sevastopol, Theseus, Kuibyshev, Kursk, Voroshilov, Royal Oak, Royal Fortune, etc. were all summoned by Qin Ji. The construction room was already filled with laughter and greetings, but Qin Ji's summons was not over yet, because so far, this summons had not failed, so he wanted to wait until it failed before stopping. After putting the mental cube and materials into the builder again, Qin Ji pressed the start button. As before, the builder did not stop, and a time soon appeared on the display screen. 04:35:00. Qin Ji looked at this time and smiled, because he had seen this time many times, whether it was Peter Strasser, Tianying, Sci-Fi, including Lutzow and Seedlitz behind him. All at this time. So it can be concluded that what was summoned this time was definitely a not weak battleship. With a trace of expectation, Qin Ji put the rapid construction tool in his hand into the groove of the builder and pressed the start button. As the builder rumbled, the time displayed on the screen quickly cleared to 0. Just as he was happily waiting for the hatch to open, he suddenly discovered that a colorful light overflowed from the gap in the builder. Soon, this colorful light became more and more intense, and as the hatch gradually opened, it shined on the entire construction room like the sun, and passed through the roof of the construction room to reach higher places. Everyone stopped talking and stared intently in the direction where the builder's hatch was opening. There was smoke there, but a figure had already vaguely appeared. Hiss, I won the jackpot. Looking at the gradually emerging figure, Qin Ji took a breath of cold air. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu Ji. Chapter 921. Qin Ji wanted to complain very much at this time. Why are the current legendary ships at sea becoming more and more unique? The ship girl in front of me must be wearing a nun uniform, right? But what's going on with such a high level of exposure? And when did the nuns' uniforms change to cloaks? But it was not Qin Ji's turn to think too much now, because the ship girl in front of him had opened her ember eyes and said with a wicked smile, Guian, Commander, I am the Royal Navy Armored Aircraft Carrier. Know for your past, future, mind, and body. Stop. Qin Ji immediately stretched out his hand to stop, and then touched his forehead helplessly. I can understand the past and the future. What the hell is the mind and body? Haha, that's the literal meaning, Kyokyo said with a smile, but there's no need to rush to tell me the answer now. The time I spend with you will tell me slowly, bit by bit. Qin Ji was speechless. It seemed that this grudge was difficult to deal with, but the new ship girl should be welcomed as she should be. So Qin Ji stretched out his hand and said solemnly, anyway, you are welcome to join my port area. I am the commander here. My name is Qin Ji. Please give me your advice in the future. Kinkaio smiled and held Qin Ji's hand. The commander introduced me so formally, so let me introduce myself in detail. The Vengeful class aircraft carrier was born as an improved version of the Glorious class. Like many companions born at the end of the war, my name is only in an inconspicuous corner of the victory epic. So in the coming days, have you figured out how to use me? Ha ha ha. Feeling the warm catkins, Qin Ji couldn't help but be speechless. Are you talking about using it properly? Whatever the commander thinks, he said with a smile. Qin Ji smiled helplessly and let go of his hand. Well, no matter what, you are now my ship girl. Let's meet an acquaintance first. I believe you are also very familiar with George V. Of course, Kyokyo looked at George V behind Qin Ji with a smile. Lord Knight, I couldn't be more familiar with him. Haha, I believe your arrival will also make Her Majesty the Queen very happy. George V smiled. Then George, I'll leave the grudge to you. Introduce her to the current situation in the port area, ask the maid team to prepare a dress for her, and she will attend a party in the evening, Qin Ji said. Yes, Commander, just leave it to me, George V said. Okay, then let me try again and see if I can still summon a ship, Qin Ji said and moved forward, preparing to summon a new ship girl. However, when I put the Rubik's Cube into the builder again, the builder still could not display the construction time, and even after trying 5 times in a row, there was no response. Qin Ji touched his chin. Did I run out of luck? Or was there some force majeure? But summoning so many ship girls today is enough. Let's wait until next time when we feel lucky. In the end, Qin Ji gave up the summoning. After all, he said before that if the ship girl did not appear 5 times in a row, he would stop summoning to prevent unnecessary waste of his Rubik's Cube. Watching the new ship girls leave the construction room under the leadership of the senior leaders of their respective camps, Qin Ji and Belfast collected the remaining supplies, left the construction room, and came to the kitchen goddess. Hello, Commander, I just saw that ray of light soaring into the sky. It seems that another maritime legend has appeared in our port area. As soon as he entered the door, he saw the goddess of the kitchen standing at the desk and said with a smile. Yes, I had better luck this time. I summoned the Royal Armored Aircraft Carrier Vengeance, and our port area's strength has improved a lot. Although Vengeance showed some personality, Qin Ji was still very happy from the bottom of his heart. Yes, after all, she is a legendary ship girl at sea. After being summoned to the port area, the strength of the port area will be truly improved. It's great. I see more and more people in our port area. I'm also happy for the commander. By the way, since the commander is so lucky today, why did he come to me so quickly? Has the Rubik's Cube been used up? Asked the female kitchen god. Qin shook his head. No, Belfast and I are here to return the supplies. After summoning Grudge, the summons failed 5 times in a row. I feel that my luck has run out as of today. So I will avoid unnecessary waste like this for the time being, and wait until one day I feel lucky to try again. So it's like this. I thought the commander would not give up until these Rubik's Cubes are used up. The female kitchen god smiled. No, how could it be? Qin laughed, and then asked Belfast to return the remaining Rubik's Cube and materials to the kitchen goddess for registration. After confirming that they were completed, they chatted for a while before leaving the warehouse. Master, shall we go to other commanders now, or wander around the port area? Belfast and Qin asked as they walked on the road in the port area. Let's go to the other commanders. It's almost noon now, and there are places in the north, south, and south, so it will take quite a long time. But before that, it's better to prepare some gifts. I'll leave this to you, Bifa. Don't make it too formal, but don't make it too light either. Qin said with a smile. Belfast smiled and said, since it is the spring festival, how about giving you some wine? I remember that when the master went to Iris and Bilion before, Miss Rosia and Miss Jean Bart gave you a lot of wine. This is pretty good. I rarely drink that wine anyway. I basically give it to Eugen or Aurora, so I'll take some of the rest, Qin said with a smile. Okay, Belfast said cheerfully. The two of them were soon ready, and then came to the garage together. After choosing a car, Belfast sat in the driving position and drove the car out skillfully, which made Qin speechless. I want to know what else Belfast can't do, Qin asked after sitting in the passenger seat and looking at the smiling Belfast. Hee, master, you can take a guess, Belfast said with a smile. Qin rolled his eyes, then couldn't help but smile and said, if you can go to the hall or go to the kitchen, I doubt there is anything you can't do. Haha, as the master's personal maid, it is natural that she must be all round. She can meet any of the master's requirements and can also help the master with anything that needs help. This is a qualified personal maid, Belfast smiled. Tisk, I don't know how you learned and mastered these things. I'm a little curious, Qin said. Hee, master, you don't want to know, Belfast smiled mysteriously. Then shall we set off now? Well, let's go. Let's go to Li Chenming's place first, Qin said. Yes. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 922. The car drove on the island's highway and arrived at the eastern port area where Li Chenming was located in just a few dozen minutes. The appearance here has changed greatly compared with the previous temporary observation point. Although its scale is not as large as the port area where Qin is located, it is definitely larger than the General Fleet Station. Originally, when Li Chenming applied, he planned to build a smaller building, with practicality as his first priority. But Qin answered grandly, this island belongs to us, we can build it however we want, and the steel required to build a port area is not even enough to convert a destroyer. There is no need to save this kind of cost. Li Chenming had no choice but to start construction according to the original plan. At present, in addition to comprehensive office buildings, the port area also has a wide range of facilities such as entertainment venues and canteens. As soon as the car stopped at the door, a ship girl came up to meet her, and she immediately saw Qin sitting in the passenger seat. Commander, the ship girl immediately raised her hands in salute. Qin returned the salute, then smiled and said, hello Nizana, is Deputy Commander Li Chenming in the port area now? Yes, but I don't know where the commander is at the moment. How about I call you and ask? Nizana smiled. If that's the case, that would be great. Chin-Ji smiled. Commander, wait a moment. After Nizana said that, he walked to the guard box nearby, picked up the phone and started to contact him. Not long after, she walked out and said to Chin-Ji, the commander has been contacted. He and several other commanders will be waiting for the commander in front of the office building, so just ask the commander to drive in directly. Okay, I understand. Chin-Ji nodded. Soon, Nizana opened the gate of the port area, and Belfast drove into the port area. Like Chin-Ji's port area, the port area here has also been hung up with lanterns and other decorations related to the Spring Festival early. It looks very prosperous when you look at it along the way. Soon the two drove to the door of the office building and saw 3 people standing there with smiles on their faces. As soon as Chin-Ji got out of the car, he smiled at the 3 of them and said, "Ha, Happy New Year, everyone." Li Chenming and others also walked over with smiles. "Happy New Year, Commander. The commander came here today to wish us New Year's greetings, right? Logically speaking, we should go and wish you New Year's greetings first," Zhang Xiaotian said with a smile. "Haha, why are you telling me so many rules? Isn't it the same for everyone who wishes New Year greetings to others?" Chin-Ji smiled helplessly. "That's true, but why did the commander come empty-handed?" Li Chenming joked with a smile. Chin-Ji rolled his eyes. "Do you think I'm the kind of person who is empty-handed? I brought you some good things." After saying that, he asked Belfast to bring out a few bottles of wine. "This is the wine that Soviet Rosia and Jean Bart gave me when I went to Northern Union and Iris. My ship girl said it was quite good. I'll bring you some this time so you can have a drink during the Chinese New Year." "Oh," Li Chenming took it with a smile. He knew it was a good thing when he saw the simple packaging on the wine. "Brothers, it seems we are blessed today." "Haha, if the commander takes action, how can things be so bad?" Chen Beijun said with a smile. "By the way, I saw a colorful light suddenly appear in your port area before. Did you summon it again?" Li Chenming suddenly thought of something and stared at Chin-Ji and asked. Yes." Chin-Ji nodded. "After all, the year is over, and today is also the last day of the year. It's like making a summary, and use all the luck this year before the time has passed." Unexpectedly, a sea legend was suddenly summoned. It seemed that the decision to summon was correct. "You guys, other people's understanding of maritime legends exists in legends, but you guys not only have them in the port area, but now there are dozens of them. It's really embarrassing. By the way, who was the one you summoned this morning? Is the combat effectiveness high?" Li Chenming said helplessly. "The Royal Navy armored aircraft carrier Vengeance, although we don't know her true strength, but as a maritime legend, there is a high probability that she will not be weak," Chin-Ji said. The Royal Aircraft Carrier? It's so enviable that it makes me cry." Li Chenming wiped the saliva from the corner of his mouth and said. Chen Beijun rolled his eyes and said, "If you cry, wipe it towards your eyes, not the corners of your mouth. And it's not like you don't have it. Isn't Ark Royal the Royal Aircraft Carrier? And its combat effectiveness is so strong." Li Chenming's face turned green all of a sudden. "Are the Royal Ark and the Glorious class comparable?" Chin-Ji looked at the living treasures in front of him and began to quarrel, and couldn't help but smile, but suddenly thought of something, turned his head and looked at Belfast. "Befa, I suddenly remembered, where is the Royal Ark of our fleet? Why is this paragraph? Haven't you seen her in a while?" Belfast smiled. "Has the master forgotten? Isn't the Royal Ark in the confinement room in our port area now? And both of them are there." "Confinement room?" Chin-Ji was stunned. "Ahem, does it mean that he has been locked up since that swimsuit competition until now?" "Of course, no one would release them without the master's order," Belfast said righteously. "Well, although they did make a mistake, it's enough to punish them, and they don't have to be locked up all the time. After you go back, you go to the solitary room and release them. But tell them that if something similar happens again in the future, then I will not be merciful. Qin thought for a while and said, "Yes, I understand." Master Belfast smiled. Turning back to look at the people who were still bickering, Qin smiled and said, "Okay, even though I say so, everyone treats them as treasures. How can I still not understand your thoughts?" "Hey, Commander Mingjian," several people said with a smile. "By the way, are you ready to celebrate the new year? Are you planning to celebrate the new year together as three of you tonight, or are you going to celebrate the new year with your respective ship girls?" Qin asked. "Originally, we planned to celebrate the new year together, but the three of us cobbled together and couldn't put together many programs, so we just celebrated the new year together with our respective ship girls. In this way, everyone can get together, chat, and perform performances. It feels surprisingly good." Zhang Xiaotian said. "That's good. Actually I want to do this, but now I have too many ship girls, and I am no longer allowed to celebrate the new year in such a leisurely way," Qin said with emotion. "Can I think of this as Versailles?" Li Chenming said helplessly, but he soon laughed. "By the way, the commander may be the first among us commanders to achieve the hegemony of ships." Qin was stunned. "Shuoqi hegemony? Yes, it means having all kinds of ship girls. This is a word recently invented by Zhang Xiaotian. Unfortunately, it is just a dream for him," Chen Beijun said speechlessly. "I didn't say I wanted to realize it. Can't dreams be made by others?" Zhang Xiaotian rolled his eyes. Qin smiled and said, "Ha, as long as you have the will, I think it's still possible. That is. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 923. After traveling from west to south to north and back home, it was already afternoon, and Qin felt more at ease. "I had great ambitions to create a large fleet, and I originally thought I could take everyone to the front line to make contributions, but I didn't expect it to end up in this situation. I can only say that sometimes it really is fate." However, he did what he was supposed to do. In just a few years, the power of his own fleet, excluding himself, was no less than that of any other fleet. If you include yourself, your fleet should have become the most powerful naval group in the world. But when this is all over, can they really go back to their original lives? Qin was a little confused sitting in the car. Although such confusion could not shake his will at all, it still made him feel a little sad. If he was one of these people, what would he do when this was all over? Is it to live in seclusion with his beloved ship girls, or is it something else? But it's useless to think about it now, because what's right in front of us is how to plan for the final battle. As the sky gradually darkened, Qin began to change into a dress in his room under Guanghui's care. As for why Belfast is not here, this is of course the glorious meaning. Actually, we can just ask Belfast to come here. Qin couldn't help but smile as he looked at Guanghui, who was arranging his clothes. "Although Belfast is the commander's personal maid, I am the commander's wedding ship. New Year's Eve should be a very meaningful day for the commander, so I can sort out your clothes at this time, and if you come to the venue together, I will feel very happy." Guanghui smiled. Qin couldn't help but smile. "Okay, you can convince me. But having said that, when I came back in the afternoon, I saw fewer people along the way. Did everyone go to the venue to help?" Guanghui blinked. "Yes, because we have more people this year, so we have a lot to prepare." Qin nodded. "Indeed. Commander, it's sorted out. Can you take a look? If it's okay, then we'll set off," Guanghui said. Qin Ji looked at himself in the mirror and smiled and said, "Originally, I have always wanted to say that it is good enough. But I was worried that it would not meet your standards of glory, so I held back. If this is the case, then let's go." "He, let's go," Commander Guanghui said with a smile. Then the two of them walked out the door together, but when they walked into the corridor, Qin Ji noticed that the whole building was unexpectedly peaceful, and couldn't help but wonder, did everyone go to the venue so early? It wasn't that early before, right? Perhaps everyone has prepared a show this year? So go there and rehearse and try to show your best side to the commander, Guanghui said with a smile. "Is that so?" Qin Ji touched his chin. "When I was rehearsing for them in the stadium before, I thought there were quite a lot of people. I didn't expect that everyone has prepared a program now. So Guanghui, have you prepared too?" "He, of course I'm ready." "Commander, can you guess what my show is?" Guanghui said with a smile. "I don't know. If I had to guess, it would be dancing or singing, right?" "It's impossible for Guanghui to do acrobatics, right?" Qin Ji looked at Guanghui's chest and smiled. "Well, Commander knows how to bully me." "You obviously like it there," Guanghui said with a slight blush. "Ahem, let's be serious, so what show have you prepared? Singing or dancing?" "I remember, Guanghui, that you are pretty good at singing. Although not as good as Lexington, you are definitely at the idol level," Qin Ji said with a smile. He, of course, I learned it from the teacher," Guanghui said with a smile, "but I don't want to tell the commander what the program will be tonight, you will know it by yourself." "But what program has the commander prepared?" "When the time comes, they will definitely be clamoring to see your performance. This has been the case in previous years, so they won't be unprepared this year, right? I've prepared some, but actually I only know that much. If I take out a little from you every year, it will be empty out sooner or later," Qin Ji said with a smile. "That's not necessarily the case. How could a person as knowledgeable as the commander be hollowed out so easily? And even if he was hollowed out, I think with the commander's character, he would definitely learn something new," Guanghui said. "Ha, maybe." While talking, the two of them had already arrived downstairs, and Qin Ji began to walk straight towards the banquet hall of the cafeteria. After all, the previous banquets were held there, so he was already familiar with the journey. However, after taking only 2 steps, Guanghui stopped him. "Commander, the place where we celebrate has changed this year. It's no longer there." Qin Ji was stunned. "Ah, we're not in the banquet hall anymore? But no one told me. Besides, didn't the document sent by Yuxian before also state the requirements for the banquet?" "That's because the banquet hall can't accommodate so many people, and there's no need to notify the commander about things like this, so we settled it privately," Guanghui said vaguely. "Okay, so where is it this time?" "Apart from the banquet hall, I can't think of any other place that can accommodate so many people," Qin Ji asked doubtfully. He, please allow me to keep the secret for now," Guanghui said with a smile, and then she raised her hand, and a white gauze scarf appeared on her hand. "Commander, because that place is quite mysterious, so before going there, could you please cover your eyes first?" Qin Ji looked at Guanghui in confusion, wondering whether to laugh or cry. "Why do you have to cover your eyes? Don't you think I can know it even now?" "It's not allowed." "Commander, please forgive me for being willful this time," Guanghui said with a smile. Qin Ji smiled helplessly, took the silk scarf in Guanghui's hand, and then tied it around his eyes. Although his eyes were shrouded in darkness, the fragrance on the silk scarf made the darkness not scary. "I thought the port area was weird before, so what tricks did you do behind my back?" Guanghui smiled and took Qin Ji's hand. "Commander will know when the time comes, so please be hopeful." "Okay, then I will give myself to you tonight. If you drag me away and sell me, then I will have no choice but to admit it, Qin Ji joked. Then everyone is reluctant to part with it, Guang Hui said with a smile. In the darkness, Qin Ji felt a crisp ringtone coming from far away until it stopped not far from him. Then a familiar voice came, Guang Hui, sit down with the commander, everyone is ready. Thank you, Vanguard. Guang Hui's voice reached his ears, and then Qin Ji heard Guang Hui say, Commander, come on. Oh. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu Ji. Chapter 924. The bell in the car kept swaying. Qin Ji, who originally planned to use his hearing to judge where he was, couldn't judge at all, and he didn't know whether the speed of the car was slow or fast. Whenever I wanted to reach out and take off the silk scarf covering my eyes, I couldn't help but hold back. Although they wouldn't say anything even if they did this, Qin Ji still wanted to see what surprises they had prepared. I don't know how long I walked, but finally the ringing stopped and the surrounding area seemed quiet. I could only hear the wind in my ears and the sound of waves that seemed far away. Just when Qin Ji was about to reach out and take off the silk scarf to check the situation, Guang Hui pulled him back and said, Commander, it's the last moment. There's no point in taking it off now. Qin Ji couldn't help but smile bitterly. Okay, but why is it so quiet here? Guang Hui smiled and said, is it quiet? I think it's very lively. Maybe for the commander, this is just the calm before the storm. Ah, Qin Ji didn't understand. What is the calm before the storm? Then he heard someone opening the car door. Guang Hui chuckled and took Qin Ji's arm. Commander, come, I'll take you out of the car. Oh, although he was confused, Qin Ji still got out of the car. When his feet stepped on solid ground, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Is it okay now? Qin Ji asked. Guang Hui chuckled and put down Qin Ji's arm. Not yet. Commander, don't be impatient. Just wait a moment. Oh. Qin Ji nodded and stood there. As a result, half a minute passed, and a minute passed, and there was no more glorious voice in his ears. Qin Ji in the darkness was a little panicked, so he said, are you ready? But no one answered. Qin Ji, who noticed something was wrong, was about to reach out and pull off the silk scarf when he felt a gentle hand holding him. Commander, don't be anxious. A familiar voice sounded, but Qin Ji found that the voice was no longer the glorious and avant-garde voice he heard before. Musashi, Qin Ji was stunned for a moment. Where's the glory? Also, why haven't you let me take it off yet? Because we are fulfilling the commander's wish, Musashi said softly. Yes, the commander's wish is also the wish of all of us. Enterprise, Qin Ji heard the voice after that. After all, they had been together for so many years and were already very familiar with it. Haha, now is not the time to be surprised. Commander, follow me and slow down. A delicate hand held Qin Ji's hand, soft and warm. Qin Ji let this hand hold him and said with some surprise, no day. And me. At this time, Qin Ji's other hand was held. Although it was a little cold, it was still so comfortable. Centaur. After walking a few steps forward, both hands let go of him at the same time. Qin Ji was stunned and then stopped where he was. Are you ready? Haha, okay. Commander, take off your blindfold. A familiar voice sounded again, and Qin Ji knew that it was the voice of glory. He suddenly pulled off the silk scarf that tied his eyes, and a bright light flashed into Qin Ji's opened eyes. The scene that appeared immediately made his hand that was about to put down the silk scarf stop in mid-air. Because he saw that in front of him, neat rows of ship girls were looking at him. They had already arranged their positions, and there was an empty seat in the center. Next to the vacant seats were several current camp leaders. Yaisen, Nagato, Enterprise, Bismarck, Elizabeth, Soviet Russia, Richelieu, Veneto, and Phi Long Meta. Next to them were maritime legends from several camps. Musashi, Shinano, New Jersey, Avant-Garde, Frederick the Great, Hutton, Kronstadt, Brest. Of course, there are several top plans, such as Benjiang and Marco Polo. Then came a group of destroyers. Although they seemed to be of the same height, Qin-Ji could clearly see that there were high wooden platforms under the feet of Mu Yu and others. Then came the light cruisers, the heavy cruisers, and finally the aircraft carriers and battleships. Hundreds of people stood there, with very close distance between them. Obviously, this standing posture made Qin-Ji think of one thing, that is, taking pictures. "Commander, Happy New Year's Eve." I don't know who shouted, and then the sound of blessings resounded through the sky. But Qin-Ji knew that the first sentence was shouted by Fushun, and he could tell it. You. Qin-Ji's lips trembled. He wanted to say something for a moment, but it was stuck in his throat and he couldn't say anything. "Commander, is this surprise okay?" At this time, Guanghui stood up and said with a smile. "It's not just okay, it's unbelievable." Qin-Ji's voice was trembling. "Then sit down. Just before New Year's Eve, let's take a group photo of the port area." Guanghui pulled Qin-Ji closer to the seat and then asked him to sit down. Although he sat down, Qin-Ji couldn't help but look behind and beside him. "Are all the ship girls in the port area here?" Qin-Ji asked. "Yes, even the Ember people, and the purifiers and Akashi are here," Guanghui said somewhat helplessly. Qin-Ji's eyelids twitched. It would make sense for Akashi to be involved, but what the hell is purifier running over? However, now is obviously not the time to say this. After all, they are here, and it is impossible not to let them participate. Anyway, one more person is not a lot, and one lesser is not a lot. Forget it, that's it, but why did you think of this today? Moreover, what's the layout around here? Is this inside our port area? Or is this no longer in the port area? Qingyu, there are many questions to ask. After all, these things are really unfamiliar to him. Haha, although the commander has many questions to ask, now is obviously not the time to talk about these, right? Let us complete this group photo. Guanghui smiled on the side. Qin-Ji was a little helpless. At this moment, a figure emerged from behind the camera in front. "Commander, and everyone, all look at the camera, don't stare at other places. And everyone, please adjust your posture, this is a very good souvenir." Gridley, Qin-Ji looked at that figure and said in surprise. "Commander, your expression should be calmer and more natural, and you'd better smile," Gridley shouted loudly. Qin-Ji put down his surprised expression and immediately sat up straight, looking forward with a sharp light in his eyes. "It's too formal, relax," Gridley said, rolling his eyes. "Okay." Qin-Ji smiled bitterly, but the expression on his face softened a little. "Okay, that's it, hold on, everyone," Gridley said, then clicked on the camera. Immediately afterwards, the whole person rushed over and finally stood at the edge of the destroyer. Let's all shout eggplant together. Eggplant. Qin-Ji felt that the camera in front of him suddenly flashed with white light, and the photo was completed.